I thought we were going to lose our house and that we were going to have to start all over again in the middle of our lives. That was the scariest part for sure. I'm not a very brave person historically. God basically had to push me out of the room into a fresh, patch of grass and go, no, plant here. And I'm like, plant what? I just look at it and go like, okay, there must be something better on the other side. So literally opened up my phone and just started rolling down the Rolodex and going, who can I help create things? And that's how it got started. Unless you want me to tell the real story.
Hey, welcome back to another Create Your Art podcast episode. We're glad that you're here, and I want you to remember something, even before we start, that you are an artist and you have something that you need to create and share with the world. And that doesn't mean just art in the traditional sense. There's something inside of you that is there, and I need you to do the work to bring it out and share it with us. And I'm excited about today's conversation. We are talking with somebody that you might know if you've been around here for a little bit, but we're going to take a little different angle today. Mr. Dustin Pead is with us, but in the I'm going to interview him seat today. Dustin, what's up, man? How are you?
I'm doing well. We talked before we started hitting record that it's a full week.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways, emotionally, physically, mentally. It's a week, but the part about creating your art is you have to show up, right? So that's what we're doing.
100%. Even when you don't feel like it. And let's just say probably both of us feel that way, where it's like, what are we doing today? But we're going to have a good conversation. I'm excited about this conversation. Yeah. This is kind of the newer format, obviously, that we're doing, where it's a little bit more interview based. And you've been on the podcast and will continue to be on the podcast. But we wanted to put you kind of in the let me ask you a few questions seat today.
Yeah.
Something about creating art or creating that thing that is inside of you that happens often is you're usually met with a few things. You're usually met with fear. You're usually met with a little bit of resistance along the way. You're met with maybe a feeling of imposter syndrome. All of the things that happen when you begin to step into that thing that you're supposed to do that hits us. And I don't know if the listener or any of the listeners know much of your story. So I want to take us back a little bit. Okay. So you spent 20 years in ministry, right? You were a creative arts pastor, a worship leader, like the guy that made all that stuff happen. But for the people that don't know that chapter, what did that work mean to you? And what was that moment when you first sensed that you might be needing to do something different?
Wow. Okay. Yeah. So what it meant to me was the pressure to be a jack of all trades and a master of none, to orchestrate creative chaos for a live production with pre-recorded elements in it every 6 days.
No big deal. Like, not a problem.
Yeah. 52 times a year. So yeah, in that regard, I've never worked on SNL, but there were times where I felt like, I wonder if this is what SNL feels like, except they sleep later in the morning and work later in the evenings. But yeah, man, 20 years of creative ministry over 3 churches, definitely some burnout in there because of that, because of the Sunday never stops coming. Some of the greatest relationships, including our friendship, birthed out of my time in local churches, and still to this day, some, pretty much almost all of my relationships are birthed out of that season.
What was it like though for you from that was something you always wanted to do, right? So there was a sense of excitement there at the beginning.
Well, I didn't know it existed. I didn't know that whole world existed where I grew up in rural Southeast Virginia. I didn't know that was a full-time job that you could do. Every pastor that I knew was bivocational, much less the music guy. So I didn't grow up in a church with a live band on Sunday mornings maybe when I was really little, we went to a bigger Baptist church that was like that. But for the most part, it was piano player and a hymn book. And so I went to school to study music, thinking that's what I wanted to do with my life. And to an extent, did a lot of my life around that. But ended up at Liberty University, and they said, there's this worship and music degree where you can actually do this for a living. And I was like, well, that sounds way more fun to me than going into music education and trying to teach a third grader how to play the flute.
Oh,
I mean,
bro.
I didn't want to do that.
No way. Oh man, that was a path presented to me too. And I was like, please, for the love of all things holy, no.
I did it for one semester, and about 3 weeks into that semester, I knew, okay, we have to just get through this semester. And that's exactly what we did. And then the very next semester, we changed out of that major and into this worship major. And so, yeah, I mean, like I said, not necessarily something I always wanted to do. It's just, I just knew I wanted to do music since the time I was 13 and started playing music. And, combining that with my faith was kind of like the best of both worlds. I'd already been in a bunch of, faith-based bands and things like that. So, yeah, my time at Liberty, spent on essentially was their campus praise band. It's now called the Liberty Worship Collective. We played 6 services a week. We were full tuition, scholarships. Some of the best musicians in the country were on that team with me. We traveled around a little bit, but for the most part, we were the house worship band for everything. So
obviously that was a big part of your life. I mean, 20 years is nothing to bat an eye at. I mean, they give people like gold watches and send them off into retirement on a lot of that kind of side of things for length of time. So walk me through a little bit. You're in ministry and you're starting to feel like there's something more out there. Maybe a little bit of burnout, it was part of it, but also like what else was happening? Like what was going on inside at that point?
Yeah, I had a few friends that I was at Liberty with, and other friends that were close to me through ministry, who were starting their own businesses, and that was really foreign to me. I didn't grow up in a family of entrepreneurs. My wife kind of comes a little bit from, her dad was an entrepreneur and started his own thing, and now she is as well, and her brother is, and all these things. And I just never had that. And so I just didn't know what was possible. You and I were just talking about this over a few beers in Nashville, that didn't know that we could do this. I didn't know that we could venture out on our own and people would actually pay us for our skills, because in creative church ministry, creative local church ministry, you have to kind of know enough about all of, comms, communication, production, music, lighting, video, photography, web. Like, you have to kind of know enough of all of that to at least be able to lead it. And I've always been what I've called myself as like a type A creative, where I love a good brainstorm, but I don't love a brainstorm that when it's over, there's no, all right, what do we do next?
You actually want to get done the things that we talk about in the brainstorming session?
I do. If I know Dustin, going in, this is just a dream for dream's sake, then I'm cool with it. Yeah. But if there's any hint of like, hey, we're going to brainstorm here because there's this thing that's coming up that we want to put on, then I'm like, all right, great. We'll set a clock for 90 minutes and we'll brainstorm. But tomorrow we're going to come back and we're going to decide what of that brainstorm we're actually going to do. And we're going to put a plan in place. So I always kind of sat on that fence and led all that throughout my 20 years of local church ministry. And so, I saw my friends kind of starting their own things and getting out there. And I was like, I don't know, maybe I could do this. And through a series of maybe unfortunate events, I kind of got shoved into like, okay, you're out.
Yeah.
And ended up, calling a bunch of people going, what can I do for you? I need money. What can I do for you? Kind of thing. And then stumbled into this business where now I get to help creative businesses unleash their best work through operational efficiency. And so it's the most fun I've ever had.
You're saying that you spent 20 years kind of collecting this set of skills, if you will. Like you were saying, you had, I got to learn how like Pro Presenter works and these computer sides and these things. And I gotta be on stage and do this.
How do you orchestrate a photo shoot and what all goes into that? And how do you orchestrate a video shoot and what all goes into that? How do you orchestrate a live production or a live event? Graphic design, layout, communications, email campaigns, websites. I had to learn all that stuff.
You had to learn all of that, and then through a set of unfortunate circumstances, you find yourself on the outside of an industry, for lack of a better term, that you spent 20 years in, and you're going, oh crap, like
now what?
what do I do now?
Yeah.
So I guess my
Yeah.
question to you was that, like stepping out of that, like when did you feel like you were ready, and what did you do when you got out there? But you're saying you kind of got pushed out the boat a little bit and go, I got to
Yeah.
swim.
Yeah. I mean, I felt for many years, probably 4 or 5 years leading up to that exit, I felt this kind of discontentment. I'm not going to sit here and over spiritualize it and say it was a holy discontentment, because I really don't know.
Yeah.
I just felt discontent in what I was doing with my life. And I wasn't even, I mean, maybe it was a midlife crisis. I don't
Sure.
know, but I just felt a lot of personal conviction about the way things were going, the way things I was seeing and what my life was turning out to be, that there had to be, more to this. But I'm not a very brave person historically. And so
Interesting.
I was like, this is not going to happen. Like, this is just going to be my life, and I'm going to have to make the most of it. And God basically had to push me out of the room into a fresh, patch of grass and go, no, plant here. And I'm like, plant what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's
So,
like, just plant here. And you're like,
just plant,
okay.
and it was literally, it's like, I was like, what do you know? Like, what are you good at?
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I'm good at making things happen in creative spaces. He's like, okay, well, plant that. And so that's what I started doing. I just literally opened up my phone and just started rolling down the Rolodex and going, who can I help create things?
Yeah.
And that's how I got started.
Oh man.
Unless you want me to tell the real story.
That's up to you. But basically you're finding yourself at this place of going, yeah, I had this thing inside of me that was stirring. Maybe I didn't know what to do with it, but I felt like that your imagination couldn't go beyond what you were in currently.
No, I never knew anything different.
Yeah. And so you're going, okay, I feel this, but I don't know what to do with it. I don't have an imagination for it. And then through, like we're saying, an unfortunate set of circumstances, you find yourself pushed out of the proverbial boat, if you will. So
Yeah, man, it was the best thing that's ever happened to me.
Yeah. But talk to me about that moment. Like, let's say it happens on a Friday and now Monday rolls around, and you're going, the last 20 years I've done this. Now
there's a grieving process for sure.
Yeah.
That lasted probably a week or so. But then the realization hits you that, I've got a wife and kids and mortgage, and like, this has to get taken care of. And so, so that's when I was just like, God, I was just like, God, I don't know what to do. And he's like, well, what are you good at? What do you enjoy doing? And I was like, well, I'm good at helping creative things actually come to life and happen. And I really enjoy doing that. And he's like, okay, just start asking.
Yeah.
So I literally opened up my contacts list on my phone and just started going through the contacts list. Yeah. And by the time I got down to Darren Cooper, I called him and said,
and now look at us.
And he said, hey, you do video editing, or you need video editing help. Probably you do a video agency thing, right? Yeah. And he's like, yeah, I probably got some things I could throw your way. Cause again, I had no video editing. I've been doing video editing for over 10 years. You had to know it, if you're going to be in creative church ministry and not a mega church, you have to know everything.
Wild,
and, dude. So I called you up and you're like, I could probably use some help. Started doing a little bit of that. That was going well. Was pursuing some nonprofit work over on the side. Did that a little bit too.
I remember that.
Yada, yada, yada. Here we are.
Yeah. What I love that you pointed out there, Dustin, is something that is probably easily overlooked. And it's funny, man. I was sidebar here. I was talking to one of our clients, Darren Ho, earlier today on his podcast, and he was walking through some things on his episode about just learning your leadership voice and like all this kind of stuff. And it was one of those things that it was like, it's so simple, but it's not easy. It's so simple that it's easily overlooked. And what you said here, and what I would encourage anybody that's listening that might find themselves in a very, similar circumstance to Dustin, is it was asking yourself, what am I good at, and who can I connect with, or who can I reach out to? And that was the simple thing that literally was the catalyst that changed everything for you, was just simply going, what am I good at, and who can I help do that, and reaching out to them.
Yeah, I've always believed, maybe it's because I saw my dad was really, really good at kind of before networking was
Yeah.
even a phrase. My dad was a very social person. He had a lot of friends. He knew a lot of people. When we went out in public and we walked into a place, there was going to be at least one person that would shout my dad's name from across the room because he knew him,
That's
and
fun.
I just learned, and my dad taught me how to introduce myself to people
Yeah.
and shake a hand and look at them in the eye
Yeah.
and give a firm pump on the handshake and things like that.
Yeah.
And so, a pleasure to meet you, like all, and so I think it just from an early age, I just was, connecting with other people was something that I saw as important.
Mm.
And also something that was really came natural to me. We were just
Yeah.
talking with Saul the other day about how, we always made friends when I was little when we would go on vacation for a week to the beach, and I would just make some random friend, you know what I mean? At
That's
the beach
awesome.
for the week. I was never the type of kid that would, if I was there, I mean, my sister was 6 years older than me. So, but yeah, I mean, so
That's fun.
I think a lot of that had to do that Rolodex that I was able to go to. I mean, you were in my contacts list for, I guess at that point, let's see, that'd have been 2023.
Oh, we're doing math
You were
now?
probably,
Oh boy.
yeah, you were probably in my contact list for at least 10 years at that point. I
Yeah.
think we met each other in the early 2010s.
Easily. Yeah.
Yeah, easily, if not before that. And so it literally just those connections, again, going back to my days at Liberty, I made a lot of connections there, and
Yeah.
a lot of those connections have paid off over the years.
Yeah.
And even when I stepped out onto my own, one of my buddies that I played with at Liberty, he had been basically entrepreneuring since we were in college and never worked for anybody else but
Wow.
himself,
Yeah.
even to this day. And he just basically coached me for free my entire first year
That's awesome.
of being on my own, and just said, like, here are the things you need to be thinking about, and here's where you need to not get overwhelmed, and here's where you need to lean into this fear, and here's where you need to ignore this thought, and that type of stuff. Really, I mean, it saved me through that season for real.
Oh man, that's such a beautiful thing to think through, and a challenging thing for me. Going, man, who have I just not thought about connecting with? Or it's almost like that, you get what you ask for kind of thing, or you get what you don't ask for. And so you're saying, man, I had this opportunity or this kind of in between things, and I just started talking to the people that I've connected with naturally over the years, and that became the new thing that I was able to drum up.
I still do that. I'm in the process right now of toying around with a creatives meetup here in the West Georgia area where I live. I live in between Atlanta and Alabama, and that area is called West Georgia. And I've literally went through my Rolodex the other day. I think I only got about halfway through. I need to probably do the other half this week, but I call it my Rolodex because I'm old. But I mean, the contacts list.
40 plus, that's what you have to say.
Yeah. I opened up my contacts list. I never even owned a Rolodex.
Me neither.
Opened up my contacts list, and I just started going down it. And I was like, and all I was looking for was, when I was looking at someone's name, as I was scrolling from the A's and going all the way down, I was thinking, are they in West Georgia? Number one. And are they a creative? Now, they don't have to be a creative professional. They don't have to be a creative business owner, but are they a creative person?
Yeah.
Do they operate out of a space and a mental capacity of creativity? Do they create some type of something?
Yeah.
Right. And so I just started shooting out messages. Hey, I'm thinking about, had the one message, I'm thinking about doing this. If I did this, would you come?
Yeah.
And I sent out probably 20 messages, and I'm only halfway through my Rolodex right now.
Yeah.
And the reason I can do that is because I try to get out there and meet people.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so now I have that ability when I go, hey, I want to float this idea, or I want to, or I still, even for my business, I will go through my contacts lists probably 2 or 3 times a year and go, is there anyone in my contacts list that I could either pursue as a client, or they would know someone that I can pursue as a client?
Yeah.
Because my contacts list is growing all the time. Like, I'm always, hey, can I get your number? Can I get your number? And so I may not have asked them before, or maybe I did ask them, but it was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And I'll just do that. I don't know how we got on this conversation, but
hey,
that's where we're at.
it speaks to, like, I'm sitting here going, I need to do that. Like, it's like,
I got 500 contacts in my phone. Like, someone's got to know somebody that needs something.
It goes back to the thing that we have to do is easy, but not something that we think about doing. Right. Yeah. Like it's not, or I guess it's simple, but it's not easy. That's probably the way that I would word it. And so, yeah, man. Well, take me back then real quick. You're in this process, or about to step into this process. Like, what was the scary part about that? What did you? What were
Oh,
you? What were you emotionally thinking?
I thought we were going to lose our house.
Yeah.
I thought we were going to have to move back to Virginia with my wife's parents or something, and that we were going to have to start all over again in the middle of our lives. That was the scariest part for sure.
Yeah.
That I thought that I was gonna, there was no way this was gonna work. Cause like going back, I couldn't imagine it working because I never imagined anything outside of working for a church.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I don't know how this is supposed to work. I don't know how long this is gonna last. I don't know, like when I'm,
Yeah.
because I applied for Home Depot and places like that all over the place, thinking I'm gonna have to get it, and I never even got a, hey, we received your application, we'll get back to you. Nothing.
Seriously.
Nothing.
So you were even at a place where you were like, I got to do something even outside of what would be considered my normal. Like, I'm just going to go get the side gig.
Yeah, I was thinking I can go get a quote unquote day
Yeah.
job while I start this business. And, luckily, thank God, my friend had a nonprofit that they were looking for an executive director for.
Yep.
I'm really good at building things.
Yep.
You know that. I build systems
Yes, you
now
do.
for a living, essentially, for creative businesses. And so he needed somebody to kind of basically build some infrastructure and processes around this nonprofit as we were trying to get it off the ground. And
Yeah.
I took a pay cut for sure, but I was able, it allowed me the ability to pay the bills, while I built this business.
So did you lose the house?
We did not lose the house. I had a friend, I'm sure he wouldn't want me to say who he is, so I won't, but I had a friend, him and his wife told us about a week after the separation from church work happened. He's like, don't worry about the house. We've got you covered. If you can't make your mortgage payment, we will.
Hit you up kind of thing, which is awesome. Did you have to move in with your in-laws?
Nope, sure didn't. Never had to. We're still in the same house that we were in when I made the transition.
Man.
And I drive a nice truck now.
Yeah, you do. Much nicer than my truck. Like, looks pretty and stuff, and doesn't have kids' crackers in the back.
4-wheel. I wouldn't. Yeah, that's because I'm a tyrant about who eats in my truck.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I just don't let my kids just ever in my truck. That's really what it boils down to. So.
Hey, quick pause here. If you are thinking about starting a podcast or have already started one and it's not driving business results like you would like it to, we would love to help. At 1898 Creative, we install a proven podcast system, a strategy that helps you leverage your message to attract premium clients without adding more to your plate. So if you're ready to turn your podcast into an authority engine, book a call over at 1898creative.com and let's build something awesome together. All right, now let's get back to the conversation.
In that moment, right, you have this fear, and I think I have that fear, especially, I probably have that fear often in the entrepreneurial journey, but
Oh, sure.
yeah.
Yes, I still do. And Will, my buddy that kind of coached me through that first year, he's like, don't look at that fear as a bad thing, and don't look at that fear as a motivation. Look at it as it's a part of what you have chosen to live in.
It's part. It's like it comes with the territory.
It's just like part of this office is that wall over there.
It's just there.
It's just part of it. I'm not worried about that wall, and I'm not going to go bang my head up against it.
Yeah.
But it's there. And I'm not driven by that wall. I don't get up every day and go, well, if I don't, that wall's going to come after me. Like it's just part of it. It's just part of the office.
I think so many times fear it does drive us. It does take the wheel. I heard Tony Robbins. I saw a Tony Robbins video clip yesterday, and he was talking about how fear has a grip, right? And he had this guy up on stage, and the guy was holding on to him, and he goes, just hold on as tight as you can, kind of thing, and blah, blah, blah. And then he started to go, what you don't want to do is try to get away from fear. You pull away, you struggle, and then you hurt yourself, right? And then you don't want to just let it take you to where it needs to go. What you need to do is you need to learn to dance with it. And it was like this whole piece that only Tony Robbins can do, right? I'm not going to do it justice by any stretch of the means, but it was this idea of dancing with the fear. Like you said, it's not going to go away, but you learn to dance with it in this way. And I think for entrepreneurs, for those leading anything, in any way, shape, or form, there's going to have to be the time that you learn how to dance with the fear. You have to step into it and not allow it to control you, to dictate you, to fight against it, but to dance with it. And that's where you begin to use that energy in some really cool ways. And it sounds like that's a little bit of what you did.
Yeah, and I'll say too, it's not necessarily the type of like crippling, I'm afraid fear. And it's the kind of fear that we read about in scripture where there's a level of respect to it. That it's not like I'm not carrying a fear. I'm not walking around in fear.
Yeah.
I don't carry it with me, but it's the thought that if I don't do this, we don't eat.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I don't think there's anything to me that's not a I'm scared kind of fear.
Yeah.
It's a level of respect fear. Oh, I respect that.
Interesting.
I respect that my actions or lack of actions help produce food on our table, which I think if we get primitive about it, like that's the way it was. There was no, back in the caveman days, if you will, there was no like you show up to the office and you can fart around on your, stone on your tablet.
Your stone tablet.
See what I did there? See what I did?
That's pretty good.
You can't play solitaire on your tablet and then just punch out and go home and go, all right, I made money today to be able to pay for no, you had to go out and make it happen.
And if you didn't, you didn't eat, kind of thing. It's like
right. And there's a phrase that sits on my desk that this is the number one thing that Will taught me during that season, and I always come back to it, and that's to work hard and trust God. We work hard because of the passion and the vision that has been set before us. But the results are not ultimately up to us. It's up to us to be faithful in showing up and putting in the work. It's up to us to plant when we find ourselves in a new field and we don't know what to plant. We just plant. Right.
Interesting.
We trust God that He's going to grow up out of that field, whatever it is that He has for us next. That's how we operate as believers anyway.
Man. And it's man, I love that analogy because I think so often there's sometimes that fear puts me in the fetal position,
Oh, sure. You want to bury yourself in the ground, not plant the ground. You're like, I'm going to dig a hole, all right, but I'm going to get in it.
Yeah. And it's like, what's the next right thing? Like you said, if you go, I'm in a new field, I don't know what to plant, you plant something. And then you learn from that and you move.
Yeah, plant something.
And that's beautiful.
Yeah, it either grows or it doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so me reaching out to my contacts on my phone, every time I do that, it's me planting something. Planting. Yeah. And it may produce nothing, but we have not because we ask not.
Man, that reminds me, this is kind of a off topic a little bit, but obviously in my life, if you know any of my story, walking through a divorce, walking through the hardest time of my life, just everything gets flipped upside down. And I remember just sitting in my brother's office one day, just like defeated and just walking through this whole thing. And he says something that haunts me in a good way still to this day. And he goes, the only way to make it through the valley of the shadow of death is to just keep walking. Like, you can't go around it. There's nothing you can do. Nope. You just keep walking. And I think a little bit of what you're saying there is like, well, you can't just lay down in the ditch and go, take me. It's like, no, we got we got to get some work going. We got to do some things. We got to get a little bit uncomfortable. We got to put ourselves out there in a way that maybe we haven't before. And we got to do the thing that scares us maybe the most. And so, Dustin, talk to me a little bit about, you get past the initial shock, the initial grief of everything. You're getting into it a little bit more. You kind of have that moment, right, where you're like, I think I could do this.
Yeah.
Was there a time that you go, you make that decision and then you go, I've made a terrible error?
Oh man. I think it would be better for this podcast if I did have that moment, but no. Honestly, no, I never had that. For me, it was every day was further confirmation that I was doing the right thing.
Well, and just because it doesn't fit into the narrative that some people would think needs to go there, doesn't mean that it's not powerful. Is basically what you said is you go, hey, here are the couple of things that I know I need to do. I need to start planting. And as you planted more, the seedlings that popped up, you went, ha, yes,
Yeah.
I can do this.
A good friend of mine once gave a sermon that a lot of people still talk about. This was a few years ago. He talked about going through the storms, and he talked about the buffalo and how buffalo, when they see a storm, they run towards the storm, not around it, not away from it. They run towards it because the quickest way out of the storm is through it.
Yeah.
Right. But then and when I close my eyes and I think about a buffalo going towards a storm, when I've just closed my eyes and think of a buffalo, period, all I think about is this sheer mass of strength and muscle.
Yeah.
Right. That one of the strongest creatures on earth is the one that goes through the storm, not the one that goes around it or away from it. And so I just look at it and go like, okay, there must be something better on the other side.
Yeah.
Because retreating is not the best for me, and going around it is not the best for me. So what must be the best for me is to go through it.
Oh man, that'll what they say. Preach.
That's what it did preach. That was a great message,
man. And just that visualization.
Yeah.
Like that idea of the buffalo walking towards that, and that is something I need to remind myself, right? Like,
yeah.
And man, I'm sitting here thinking. I mean, I think you and I were talking before the cameras turned on. Is that like you? I think you started the podcast with it. It's just like this week is just heavy. It's hard. It's one of those you go, I just want to shrink back, or I just want to lay down in the ditch and just put the dirt on top. Like, let's just call it, right?
Yeah.
And
there's a guaranteed outcome in that, though.
Yeah, you're right.
There's a guaranteed outcome of quitting.
Yeah.
There is no other possibility.
Yeah.
Going through the storm, there's the possibility of another outcome.
Yeah. What's on the other side of that?
Yeah.
And I think that's anybody that starts something and I think entrepreneurs or, ministry leaders or those that are, in charge of something and leading something in some way, like you have to go through the storm, because the minute that you shrink back, the minute that you lay down, yes, there's an outcome, but it's also like, man, like everything that you were built for, the reason that you feel that thing of like starting or doing or creating that thing is because that's how you were wired. That's something that is inside of you, and something that is not there by mistake. And that's what I always keep coming back to when I find myself in these days and I got to get through the storm, is like, like going back to the, leaning on somebody else or not stepping into it fully. It's like, I'm not being fully me at this point. So at this point you go down swinging,
it's not worth it to retreat. And like, this is going to sound bad to people that work for someone else. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think there's great wisdom and power in being the support. I mean, in my business model,
that's their story. That's
my
their
business
thing.
model is built on being the support system for other businesses and for other people and for other artists and other creatives. But for me, like, I've told everybody around me several times since starting this, like, I'll never, I say never, right? God has a sense of humor, so who knows? But like, I have no desire I have no desire to work for anybody else.
Yeah.
And that's not a right, wrong, or indifferent, but it's just the commitment and you asked earlier, like, do you ever wake up and go, oh no, did I make a big mistake? And I said, no, it's the opposite for me. I wake up every day going with further confirmation that what I'm doing is the right thing. And when you're a business owner or an entrepreneur of any kind or a visionary of any kind that has trying to start something new or create a category that doesn't exist or whatever it is, like you're going to have a lot more no's than yeses.
Yeah. But
it takes like one yes out of 100, and 99 no's for me to go like, yeah, I knew that I was supposed to be doing this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even when I get the no's, I don't doubt that I'm supposed to be doing this. my personality is I start to doubt my own like abilities,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
To do it. Not that I'm not supposed to be doing it. There's a difference between like, hey, I'm calling to, you have a calling to do this. You have a purpose behind doing this. I don't really question that at all.
That's a good differentiation.
I question, do I have what it takes?
Yeah. And I think, man, that's a really good highlight, Dustin, because I would second that, although I've never worded it that way, that there are days that you go, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I'm cut out for this.
Correct.
I know that I'm supposed to be doing this.
Correct.
I know
100%.
that this is the alleyway. This is the thing that I'm supposed to do beyond a shadow of a doubt, but can I do it?
Yeah.
What do you do when you find yourself there?
Man, a couple things. One, I remind myself of the calling, but usually 99 out of 100 times I remind myself again to work hard and trust God. And usually within 30 minutes of reminding myself that I'm back on to something.
What does that look like? You just say it over and over again? You write it down?
I do. I'll say it out loud. I'll say it to my wife. I'll say it to myself. I'll say it in my head. I do the morning pages thing from Julie Cameron's Artist Way.
Nice.
Haven't been as disciplined with it of recent, but in seasons where I need it the most, I'll do that. And the very first thing I write down in my morning pages every day is what my purpose statement is. That I kind of developed during that season of my life of this is my life's purpose. It doesn't matter. And my life's purpose isn't attached to a business. It isn't attached to what I do for a living. And I wanted it to be that way. I wanted my life's purpose statement to be applicable to my marriage, applicable to my fatherhood, and applicable to whatever I do for a career, whether it's for myself or someone else. At the end of the day, that's what I'm here for. That's what I'm made for, is to do this. And so I do that. I remind myself of that purpose. I remind myself to work hard and trust God. And then gratitude plays a big role in that too, man. Gratitude is the Swiss Army knife to cure any of the I'm down on myself blues, right? And we start to think about all the things that are wrong with us. We just look back and go like, wait a minute, I get to live here and drive that truck and eat this food and have this wife and this family because of this thing that I do in my basement. Like, that's weird.
In my basement, just sitting down here doing the thing.
It's my office. I call it my studio. It's nice. It's fancy. Like, I have a lot of cool things around here that keep me stimulated. But I'm just like, at the end of the day, I'm just like a guy in his basement.
And make it happen. Make it happen. That's so
make
fun.
It happen.
That's funny. So now, okay, you've done this. We kind of have a good picture now, and Chief Creative Partners is the thing that you're doing. And obviously you and I have worked together, so I know a lot of this story. So I'm going to ask it anyway. But Chief Creative Partners obviously has some different iterations over the years as you've kind of defined and refined and gotten it down to where you're at today. But like, whose life's better off because Chief Creative Partners exists?
Mine.
Boom. Dropping it.
Selfishly, I don't just mean monetarily. Obviously, monetarily we're doing good, but it's the peace of knowing that I'm living smack dab in the middle of my purpose here. And and I'm not saying what I did for 20 years wasn't a part of that purpose. I believe in every second of that was part of that purpose and part of that journey, and not just to get to where I am either. I think it's just part of the story, right? But you asked like who's benefiting from that. I work with my clientele is creative business owners, people that create that have to turn around and create videos, design, communication, photos, websites, things like that. That's what they do for a living. And them, like me, someone once paid them for it because they were good at it.
Yeah.
And that felt good. And so then they said, well, I'm going to just keep doing that. And then that turned into a business. And I don't have a business degree. That's not necessarily my forte. My forte is making creative things, making creative vision come to life. Like, hey, my vision is that my creative business is going to look like this. It's going to feel like this. It's going to operate like this. And I go, great. Have you thought, I hear that you've thought about A, B, and C, but I'm going to think about the rest of the alphabet, and then we're going to put infrastructure and systems around it so that you can repeat it and it doesn't all crumble if you get the flu.
Yes, for sure. Yeah. Or go on vacation or take a day off or any of those things that happen around it. So do you think that you would have the skill set with system building and all of that had it not been for the 20 years in full-time ministry?
No, not even close. I mean, I could think back to a very young age, where I was a very like, the kid that's like, they're very organized, but it's all in piles.
It's like, that's a mess, but I know where that mess, it's organized.
It's not tidy. It's not strewn. It's not like it's tidy. It's not like strewn about everywhere.
Sure. Yeah.
Right. But like, I knew this stack was here and these things. And so like, I always kind of like was that organizer. Like, I love to like organize things and kind of put structure into things. And a lot of that has to do with my upbringing and the kind of the chaotic environment that I grew up in. And so my personality gravitated towards like, okay, what can I control here? And so I just started to kind of like keep things tidy and neat as best I could. And then, but yeah, to answer your question, no, not without that 20 years. I mean, we had to, like I said, we had to put on a live production, communicate about it, video capture it, design elements around it, script things around it, like all that stuff. And so that stuff doesn't just happen, right?
Yeah.
A lot of creatives just think that they can have the idea and stay up till 11 o'clock. And then it's, the thing is supposed to go live at midnight and they go, oh yeah, I can do it. You absolutely can do it. I've seen it done. You can do it.
Sure.
But you can't do it for the long haul. You can't sustain that. And you can't do it with excellence. Yeah. And excellence is a big deal to me. It's something that I've always thought like, if I'm going to be a part of it, it doesn't have to be perfect, but I want it to be excellent.
But excellence. Yeah.
Right. And so I think when creatives and creative businesses consistently procrastinate and wait to the last minute on things, they burn themselves out. And they don't produce excellence consistently. They might hit it once out of 100 times.
Sure.
But consistently or not. And when their livelihood is dependent on other people paying them for that excellence, now we got a problem.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So we have to create that time margin so that we can do it. And we have to create the systems and processes so that we can do it the same way each time, not the same way in the boring way, but the same result, the same level of excellence every single time. We have systems all over 1898 Creative.
Yeah.
No two videos are the same, but
correct.
How we got to that video is pretty much the same way every time.
Yeah. Yeah. It's yes. And I can attest to the guy that stays up late trying to get the thing over the finish line for multiple weeks and months in a row that ends up going, oh, I just can't anymore. That then takes you out, that gets you to lay down in that ditch and say, throw dirt on me, right?
Yep.
So it's the system that gets put in place that allows you to keep the thing going and keep moving and keep burnout at bay, if you will. And that's the beauty of what you're able to do, especially for those in the creative agency space and the creative minded folks that are out there doing that. And that's the beauty of what you've helped me with in all these years, right? And so it's just really cool. So some people might say, right, that oh man, ministry, a little bit of a higher calling, if you will, than what you're doing now. Yeah. How are you making impact the way that you were maybe in those 20 years? Like, what are you seeing from, those that might say, oh, ministry might be a little bit more of a place where you make greater impact. How are you seeing yourself make impact today in what you're doing with Chief Creative Partners?
Yeah, well, I don't think comparing impact is good for anybody.
Sure.
But I'll just say it's a different impact. You know,
Mm.
my the impact when I was in local church ministry was mostly, not saying this is the right way, but was mostly, you come to me and I'll impact you. In the secular
Okay.
space, with your brother is big in the secular Christian business world, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, in the business marketplace, if you will, they don't come to you. You have to go to them. So there's a little bit more. There are people that I can reach through my business that would never set foot in a church.
Yeah.
There's also people that set foot in a church that would never want to do business with me. And so
Yeah.
I think we need it all.
Yeah.
It's not a greater level of impact because you're in local ministry, or a greater level of impact because you own your own business. It's just different impact, and we need it all, right? But I think the heart of that question is attaching your value to what you do. And that's why I try to go back to my purpose statement all the time, because if I'm living in that purpose, it doesn't matter what I do.
Yeah. And you've said that twice now. So what is your purpose statement?
Sure. I'm anointed to intentionally equip others through authenticity and excellence.
Authenticity and excellence.
Yep.
As a friend that's close to you, I'd say that, yeah, I see how that's a driving force in what you do.
Yep.
Yeah. That's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Yeah, man.
I love it. All right, man. So love this conversation. Love what you're doing. Talk a little bit about those that might be going, Chief Creative Partner sounds pretty interesting. Where can they find you at, buddy?
Oh man, thanks to a good friend of ours, an amazing creative, PJ Tao.
Ooh, shout out PJ.
PJ Tao of 43 Creative spelled out. Yeah, so they can find me at chiefcreativepartners.com. Some very simple next steps on there, right? Book a call, let me hear about your business, and then we can kind of take it from there. But at the end of the day, we say that you create and we operate. That's what we do at Chief Creative Partners.
I love it. So simple and so easy to understand. It's like you've thought about that for a bit or something. So.
Or I surrounded myself with smarter people than me, like PJ.
I like that too. Yeah. If you are an entrepreneur, especially in the creative field in any way, shape, or form, reach out to Dustin, especially on the system side of things, the way that he approaches it, the way he builds it, the way that he helps you operate. You can create, he'll operate.
That's right.
Go do that. And so if that's any way, shape, or form interesting to you, go check it out. The links will be in the description and all of that fun stuff. But Dustin, man, I just appreciate not only your friendship over the years, but the work that we get to do together. Obviously, you're very integrated in with what we do here at 1898 Creative, and that's super exciting and awesome for me. Couldn't do any of this stuff without you, man. And I want just the world to know that. You know what I mean?
I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much for your kind words and the time on the podcast. It's a real pleasure to be here and share a little bit of that story rather than just playing the Andy Richter role.
Yeah, no, it's good. You'll be back in the Andy Richter role, I'm sure,
Sure.
in some episodes to come.
Of course.
But for now, we get to hear your story and learn from your story, man. Like that's. I love the lessons that you brought out and the things that you encouraged us to do, and it's going to be super cool to hear the stories of those that took your challenges to heart and actually went out there and did something with it.
Awesome.
So appreciate it, man. Thanks for being a part of it, and thank you for tuning in to this episode of the Create Your Art podcast. And before you go, I want you to remember this, that 1, you are an artist, and 2, that you need to do the hard work of bringing that art into the world, and 3, I want you to remember that you are loved more than you could ever imagine. So go out and create your art, and we'll catch you in the next episode.